Mastering the art of manifestation.
Right.
How is that different from the law of attraction?
It's very, very different.
Tell me.
Yeah. The law of attraction, and I'm not here to put down the law of attraction. I think
I
that
think
work
the
that
law
has
of
been done.
attraction and the secret opened people up to a
Right.
new way of thinking.
Absolutely.
It had its flaws because
Right.
it allowed some people to think that all you had to do was think about a
Yeah.
bicycle and there it would show
Right.
up.
Yeah.
And the key word that you use in here over and over and over again in every chapter is that in order to attract or manifest anything, you have to be in alignment
With your source.
with your
With your source.
source,
With God. You
with
have
God.
to be.
Yeah,
You,
it's
you
about
have to stay
alignment.
connected to the ocean.
That's right.
You have to stay
Because you
connected.
can't just
Yeah.
sit around and wishing
Yeah.
for stuff or.
So the basic thing that Neville taught me, and a lot of this is from the teachings of Neville,
Hmm.
Neville Goddard, who died in the 1970s. He basically said that all of us have within us this amazing capacity to manifest and attract anything that we want into our life. So how we call it, what words that we use, we have to be able to say, um, in the secret they say you get what you want, and what is missing. And what Neville said, and what has come to me, and what I got from the I Am discourses, and what I get from the New Testament, which I read before I did this, is that you say, I will attract into my life what I am, not what I want. And I am capable of attracting all things that the source is capable of attracting. So that's the difference. It's like you get what you are rather than what you want. So you want to become. You can't go around and ask these divine beings, angels, whatever you want to call them,
Who are right here
yeah,
all the time.
always. You
Right
can't you
here, right
can't
here,
ask
right here.
them to help me out. You have to become like they are. That when you become angelic, when you become a divine being yourself, when you are giving, when you are serving, when you are in that place, they will come to you. That's what happened to you in India. You
Hmm.
then begin to see yourself in everything. It's like,
Because it is our goal to reflect the character
right,
of God. That's what
right,
we're here to do, is
exactly.
to emulate
And
that.
that's what the Tao Te Ching teaches as well. They
Yes.
call it your original nature. Your original nature is reverence for all of life, gentleness, kindness, and service towards others. That's Lao Tzu, 500 years before the birth of Christ, saying that's our original nature.
Yes.
Reverence for all of life, gentleness, kindness, service towards others, giving, offering, serving. And when you get to that place where you no longer have any judgment within you towards any of God's children, that means no condemnation, no criticism, no judgment towards anyone, even the Osama bin
But
Ladens,
how
even,
can we be that since we're here?
but
We're
what,
living, we're on earth, we got problems.
yeah,
We
but,
got our issues. We have
and
stuff going on.
And if enough of us get this message, Oprah,
Yes.
if enough of us get it, and that's just what my mission is just to teach people that you are love, you are divine. Put
Hmm.
that into your imagination. I am well. I am happy. I am content. I am fulfilled. Even if your senses tell you that you're depressed. One of your people that called me when we did a pre-interview on here said, "Well, if I'm feeling depressed, I'm supposed to fool myself and say I am feeling well, even
You
if I'm
can choose
depressed."
another thought. That's
Yeah,
what I've learned.
absolutely. And it's like you don't say I am depressed, because if you say I am depressed, you connect with depression, and the universal source, God, whatever you want to call it, will align in such a way to offer you whatever it
More
is that you
depression.
put. Yeah, here's some more depression. I am unhappy. I am depressed. I am. So by placing into your imagination what you want and assuming the feeling of that wish as already fulfilled, you go through your life feeling that. When enough of us do that, we will transform this planet. I'm telling you, it can be done.
We're
You know,
doing it right now.
absolutely. Us sitting here, right here together, it's all part of this perfection.
Nice. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to hear that this morning.
Yes,
That was
that's good.
yeah, that's amazing. And they're both right. Um, just to track what frequency you're vibrating on, and love, happy, and contentment. The more you align into that vibration, the more of that you get. That's what I'm finding. That's cool. And then it's so easy to get off track a little bit. So,
letting the outside world influence you.
yeah, Yeah, and then the key is getting back there, learning how to get back there. Even as far as getting this the daily mode of operation, the daily work done. You know, you have to always. I'm always trying to bring myself back to that, and learn how to get that going, get back into that state. Yep.
You go off into la la land and you have to come back.
Yeah.
Let me just go to the beach for a couple hours. No, I gotta go back.
Right. Well, that does help. I mean, just getting out in nature, right? And
I do that.
yeah.
I drive around up by the reservoir, look for deer and nature, and it kind of resets me.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And we all need that. I mean, the more we can stay on that track, the better things are. Get back on that track. You know,
That's why I think it's so important, like, to be reading those personal development books, you know, several times throughout the day, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, because it does help to keep your mind like aligned on the positive pursuit of the goal versus all of the negative circumstances that keep popping up throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like, I find that works really good.
Yeah. And even that's why I like sharing these things on the morning calls, you know. It doesn't matter how many times you hear the same thing. Every time you hear it, it's a positive thing to make you, you know, sure.
And everybody says it kind of differently.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, everyone says it differently. And everyone has something to add a little bit. And you could hear it over and over again, the same thing from the same person, and you still take it in a different way every time. You're in a different spot at that moment. So I think it's cool. And then you stay away from it for a few days or a week or 2 weeks, and then wow. Yeah, things really go crazy. Off track. So yeah, I think you're right, Dee. I think it's the more you can feed your mind and your thoughts with that energy. And then I've been trying to feed my thoughts more with the daily mode of operation stuff, like yesterday I can't even remember where I got that thought from. It came from somewhere, but in order to get started on a task, the motivation actually comes after, not before you start the task. That's very interesting. So you always think you need the motivation to start the task, but the motivation comes after you start the task. So you just need to start the task. And what I learned yesterday, which I'm working on, is that in order to start the task, you link it to a task that you already do and you already know how to do. And that task is going to link you to starting what it is you're going to be starting. So if you want to message some people on Facebook, right? Sometimes it's hard to sit down and start that task. But going on Facebook is not a hard thing. You do it constantly all day long. So you just have to think, you get your mind to think, okay, I'm just going on Facebook. I'm just gonna message a few people, and then that's it. That whole task of doing what you wanted to do starts. And I used it for my workout yesterday, because starting the workout, like I said the other day, is always the hardest part. Like getting on the treadmill and getting the pulse rate up. Once that happens and everything starts to move around, then it's okay. And then the motivation kicks in, and that's where I think that really sums it up. But yesterday it was like playing music. Playing music is an easy thing. So starting some music and starting it to play is always the start to my workout. So if you don't think about the workout, just think about, I'm going to start playing some music. Then you're moving into that action already, but you're not thinking about the workout, and you're not thinking about the time that you have to put into it. You're just thinking about, okay, I got to get some music queued up. I'm going to start listening. Oh, and the music's playing. Now I can start my workout.
Well, I think that every morning we wake up with motivation in different levels, different directions of our life, whatever we do that day. And I think it's just the intensity of the motivation changes based on whatever we're doing or why we're doing it and the goal of those things. Because our day takes us in different directions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
find I'm way more motivated when I have a routine that I'm sticking to. Like once I have that routine, then the motivation for me, like you said, is okay, just get started on the routine. And then once I'm in it, it's like, okay, checking off everything that my routine says for me to do. And I noticed that
Changes, yeah.
yeah. And then I noticed that when I have these external distractions that can't be ignored, that I they don't throw me off as much anymore because I have my routine to run back to. Like as soon as that's done, I've got to finish my routine. And so I'm finding like for me, that habit is becoming the motivation. Like I don't necessarily like having to talk to 50 people that I don't know. And you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, but like, you know, this whole connection thing, that Fraser video was really good. Like just connecting is super fun and easy. And I love that. And so that's easier. And so so then part of my routine is less like humbug because I'm doing it every day and I found this way that's cool to do it. You know what I mean? But it's the routine. When I didn't have this plan as tight, then it was so easy to get distracted, caught up in my emotions, you know, all these things because I was so much more tied to the result. But as we keep coming here and sharing what works and ways to do it, those little tweaks are making my routine so much easier to stick to. And so I'm more motivated to get through the routine, regardless of what the results are.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. And then once you have the routine, you know what you're doing. You don't have to figure it out. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'm trying to. I've been working for a while now on fine tuning my daily routine and fitting everything in because before I was just doing whatever happened during the day. Wake up and whatever happens, and yeah, and right to the like even that we've been talking the last few days. I think like the routine starts with making the bed in the morning. That's the very first accomplishment. It's all right. That's awesome. That's done. And making the coffee and sitting down and enjoying the coffee is another thing. It's like, okay, that's done. Watering the plants is another thing. It has to be done every day or they die. And so I missed that a few days, but watering plants is enjoyable. You know, you just have to start it and get it where it can be enjoyable. I find it enjoyable. And then so that's kind of on a list. Whereas if it's not on a list of routine, then it just like randomly happens. Oh yeah, the plants. I forgot about the plants because they're not part of the routine. And same with making the bed. You know, if it's not something you say you're going to do every morning, then it gets done sometimes. You know, so and to me, regardless of the strategies and the techniques and the training and Fraser Brooks or Eric Worre or whatever, that's the most important thing. I believe. I don't know how everyone else feels. I think it's the whole mind thing of getting the work done and learning how to do a routine and learning what routine to do, you know, just because it has to start somewhere. It's never easy at the beginning. Like you're going to learn how to play guitar. It's going to be difficult at the start, you know, after learning how to play it for so many years, then it just becomes easy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it is the willingness to be controlled by yourself. Like we let so many other things control us because we haven't mastered like the control of ourselves. And in that it's in that the routines that we find are successful for us. Like doesn't have to be what everybody else is doing, but it just has to be where do we find success in our day? And are we doing the things that are important to us that bring us closer to our goals, our values, our morals? Like if we're just kind of free for all, that's fine if that's our goal in life, is to be a van lifer, free for all, but then if we want some certain level of success, and in business, it's very structured, as much as like we are free to do whatever we like. We're free in our
Charlie,
business.
wait
We're
a
not
minute.
stuck to
Yeah,
some
wait.
boss telling us what to
Please sit
do.
down for just a
It's
minute.
still a very
Just 1 minute.
structured, it's a very structured lifestyle. Like we have customers, we have orders of operations to make our business successful. So the sooner we can really grasp that and make that, those, whatever it is to make those things happen, a routine, then the sooner I think we'll be consistent and achieving those results. But we can't be focused on the results if we haven't gotten that routine super tight yet, because clearly it'll come in the right time, right? When we're ready for it. Like what like Wayne said, right? When we're in alignment, right? And I liked that he said, I am becoming what I am. Right? Like in that, I was like, wow, like, yeah, that's good. I want to meditate on that today. I am becoming what I am. I am successful. I am powerful. I am influential, all those wonderful affirmations. I am all these things. We get more in alignment with me.
I am happy. I am love. I am contentment. Just yes, exactly. Yeah, and we're talking about this in the context of building an income online, so we're self-sufficient and making money when we want to make. If we don't have to do that, then we don't have to be that structured to figure out how that, what our daily, what we're going to do daily, what our tasks are like work-wise. If it wasn't for wanting to build a life where we have income coming in online,
Right.
it's business, then
Right.
then wow, then that's a nice thing about a job. Your only commitment is to like get out the door and get there by 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever your start time is, and then everything you figure it out from there, what you need to do, and then you go home. But working from home and working on your own, it's figuring out how to get all those things into your day to be committed to them and make them happen. Yeah.
Well, and even if you have a job, like somebody in the chat was commenting about they have a day job, and so part-timing their pursuit for their business. And it's like, even with that, like you have to have a routine. You have to wake up on a certain time to be able to get to work on time, and you have to have time to do all the things that you need to do to be fresh and all that for work. And then you come home and you gotta you have some kind of a routine before you go to bed, so that you can go to bed at a decent time to wake up at a decent time. So we're always in some kind of a control, but with entrepreneurship, we determine the control so much more than when we were, but a lot of people don't have that sense. And so they're crappy employees. They get to work late, they do a crappy job, they're tired. So it's still like, and then like you with the guitar, right? Like at some point there's a time to learn chords. It's to you putting in the time to practice that in the midst of all the things that you have going on. If this is important to you, you make the time to work on the skills, and you have to be consistent, because if you practice guitar once a month for 5 minutes, or maybe until the phone rings, you're never really going to be a good guitar player.
Right. And I always tell people that the really good guitar players in the world that are really, have done really well and influenced everybody, like Eric Clapton and Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix. You look at their stories, and their stories are they sat in their bedrooms for 8 to 10 hours a day for 4 or 5 years straight and practiced the guitar. Learn their craft. There's no way around it. Everyone's story is always the same. Unless you're, unless you sell your soul to the devil or whatever, and you come out with a man, which I don't know if those stories are believable either. I don't know where that came from, but that comes from the crossroads but I think you went away and practiced for a year. But yeah, Yeah, and so it's not a talent, or it's not something you're born with. It's that work ethic to really like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna focus on it, and I'm just gonna make it happen no matter what, and I'm gonna keep working at it. You know, and, a lot of people have done that for anything, any kind of skill you can get at, and including this. And I think with this business, we think it's a lot easier than it actually is. We think, oh,
That's for sure.
can't be that hard, like, you know, just make a few phone calls and do a few things. But no, it requires focus and effort, and slowly progressing, getting better, and getting better with yourself, or what we're talking about, being able to do what you want to do and said that you would do. And yeah.
And being consistent. That's like the,
Mm.
I'm finding that like that is so important. Just consistency of whatever it is that we say that we're gonna do. Like working out, you know, eating healthy, doing the calls, showing up here. You know, like this is really important. The things that we share every day, you never know what tip is gonna be the one that helps you. But if you're not consistently showing up, you're guaranteed to miss the tip. Even if you're showing up on the replay, you know what I mean? Like you've got to show up. There's a reason that these meetings happen, and there's a reason that people show up to it, because we're getting something from it. But consistency is everything, even for motivation. Like some days are super lame, like talk to 50 people and nobody gets back to you, or they're getting back to you with lame responses. It can be like, oh, why am I even bothering? So much easier to just go and get like some lame job down the street. But then our whole life is going to be feeling lame, because you know what I mean? Like we're not doing our heart's desire. We're not helping people really, like, you know what I mean? So the consistency of just showing up is huge to keep us motivated.
Yeah, and if we didn't want to be here, we didn't want to do this, we wouldn't do it. You know, we
Right.
wouldn't do it. There's a reason why we want to do it, you know, and then what other people are going to want to do it too. So we're just attracting those people that want to do it and will do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's so important now. Just like I think there's so many people who are at a loss of what to do. Like we've already gotten to the stage, like you're saying, that we know what to do. We've got our routines down, we've got our systems down, what we want to do, and all that. There's some people that don't even know what to do. They haven't a clue. So it's great to help people like that, give them direction.
It's nice to help people like that, but it's nice to have some people come in that already know how to do it, that just want the opportunity, understand the comp plan, how good it is, and want to do it. So you don't have to work with them all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a mix of those people hopefully will show up. You know, just like we're saying, we're putting it out there into the universe. We're putting out the frequency. We're willing to help, and then that will come back. If you're not willing to do that, then it will never come back. Yeah. But since we're willing to do that.
We're also not the only group doing this. I started talking to a guy, I don't know, a few days ago. We do voice clips back and forth. And it was like 3 days in. I said, well, and I was reading his profile. I know he's in health. He's in Ireland. I said, look, I'm not even going to offer you an opportunity because I know you're happy where you're at in this company. I said, but, you know, we do a morning meeting. You're more than welcome to come on in because this guy's sharp. And he goes, well, as a matter of fact, the time hits the same time they do their meeting at night. It's like 11 a.m. here, but 6 p.m. there. He says, well, I'll invite you to my group. Like, well, here we are back and forth, but everything we're talking to each other is all on the same level. I mean, it's leadership up here. So I went ahead and entered their group. I've just looked around the group page, but the same thing. So there are groups out there narrowing this down and with leaders that are showing other people how to do this the proper way. And we're both, I can tell we both like each other and respect each other already. He goes, hey, this is what it's all about, is building relationships. But you can't take one person and take a week to build a relationship unless you're doing that with 50 people all at once every day, which gets pretty hard to do, to have those kind of conversations.
Yeah. Because yeah, I definitely feel we're on the right track. Like, you know, with these meetings and with the systems that we've got together and all that. I believe it's just got to build now, and once it builds, it'll gain momentum.
Yeah, it's like the popcorn maker. Get them all bubbling, getting hot, and eventually you start popping. Better start popping soon. We're already, as of to, was it Monday?
Yeah.
We're already 1/4 of the way through this.
Wow. That's cool. In a way.
3 weeks. That'd be one quarter of it.
The third week, right? End of the third.
This is the end of the third or end of the second? Yeah, end of the third.
Yeah, end of the third. So
Who's
that's
fast?
cool. We're still at the very beginning. So that's good.
This is the infancy stages still.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, yeah, if we can get some more people onto this call, just to beef up the conversation, you know, because people
Yeah,
have their,
and depending on who's on, I mean, if it's somebody really new to the company, we can do the motivation and then go into answering questions. We don't have to be talking 90-day run and scare the crap out of people.
right. Yeah, and not so much the 90-day run, but the system that we're working on, you know, that's because I think it is the best system.
Well, talking about that's great because that would get them started doing it also. I went ahead and rewatched the 331 yesterday. I'm starting to implement that. It's just so much easier than just blasting out shit everywhere and writing names down. Just concentrate on the 3 every day, get it done.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and this is where it comes down to. That's what we want to do, so that we just need to
I
figure
just
out.
tightened up mine a little bit with the follow-ups. I'm only writing down names if they actually get a
Respond.
link. Yeah, but I'm still doing the penny, and I did ramp it up. So now I'm doing 50 connections a day, which again,
Holy crap.
I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it doesn't feel like a lot because I'm not having 50, you know, lead generation or IPA kind of conversations. I'm just making these connections. Hey, how you doing? You know, da 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 da. And then I'm trying to just allow this interest to be there, you know. And so
is that with a friend request or just to cold audience messaging?
I'm just going through my Penny app. So with Penny, it's all warm. Well, it's like technically warm. Either I follow them or they follow me. Because I'm noticing sometimes she sends me people that I'm not following, but then they're following me. And so I'm just hitting all of them. Everybody that Penny sends me, I'm just hitting everybody. And so, but I also noticed that, like you were saying, Don, because I'm in social media, I'm also maybe making a post because I realize, oh, I haven't made a post today. So I'll throw in a post real quick. And then I'll comment in a group because maybe, you know, like I'm in a couple, you know, challenges. And so the groups will come up and then I go in there. So I'm making those other connections that are outside of Penny, but I am just sticking to Penny for my official work time, you know, whatever. And so I forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. Oh, so yeah, so I am being more consistent as far as that. And I am finding that it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to just, you know what I'm saying, do it.
Yeah, and then I think the next evolution in the process is going to be the follow-ups and then actually, you know, talking to people, sharing the business with them, sharing the product with them, sharing the opportunity with them. And to me, there's always been a little bit of a block there because now the easy part is the connections and the follow-ups. It's making that transition over.
That's the hard part, yeah.
That'll come easy too, I think, once you get the whole process going. Because it'll just be like, are you interested or not kind of thing. Just ask, are you interested?
Yeah.
You know, we've had so many techniques of doing that. But if you think about it in that aspect, and if you're not interested, no big deal. I just, you know, That's a
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. Just I thought I'd ask. So that's going to be the next thing, because that's the most important thing if you look at it, you know. And who was talking about numbers? Yeah, I think it was him too. Numbers don't lie. So numbers are really like how many people are coming on board every day, every week. That's the important number. And if you're having trouble with the connections, starting the process of making connections, just do that. What we were saying is you start a familiar task first. Oh, I'm just going to go out there and make a post, you know. And once you're there, oh, I might as well do my 25 or 50 connections.
Have a good day.
Yeah. So that's right on. Hey, Tom, it's good to see you there.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. Are you
I'm
driving?
driving right now.
Drive. I figured that.
On the interstate. But hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I had this one guy. He was a big player in a company, Shop to Earn, and then another one in Viridian. And he was dabbling his toe in New You Life, the gel, and he wants to get behind something and build something big, but he's looking for something that has good tools and stuff. And he was all hot and everything, except after he saw some of the videos and stuff that we have, he's like, I need something that's a little more enticing. He says it doesn't really portray how good this product is, this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody ever get that response from anybody? This guy, you know, he's used to being able to just send people to a tool and that's it. And he's built big businesses, you know? I mean, he's recruited a ton of people. He was, you know, topping some of these companies.
Yeah.
And then he like looked at the tools and he's like, you know, I sent him a bunch of different ones. The ones that Mark made us, some of the ones from corporate. And I don't know, it's like, he said, that's it, you know? It says,
yeah.
Well, he ought to be happy with the mobile app. That's probably the best tool.
Yeah, I sent them some of the stuff from the mobile app too, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe ask him what he thinks is needed and say, hey, what do you need? What do you think you need? And what, you know, is it testimonials? Is it just different types of videos?
Different professional level.
Yeah, I guess he just said, you know, there's nothing there that he didn't feel compelled, like it would be compelling enough for people to, after watching the tool, you know, and that's
I think he needs to try the product for a month.
Yeah.
Before he says yes or no. Once he knows it works, that changes your mind.
Yeah, I know. It makes a big difference, but you know.
I mean,
But maybe invite him to one of the LifeWave corporate talks. I mean, I know that because I know I've had somebody tell me too that the tools were kind of boring. They thought Mark was more interesting. And when you look at them, they are kind of dull. But when you hear David talk in a whole presentation, I know it's long, but like if he's really interested, then maybe just actually hearing David talk at length about what, you know, his vision is, what he believes the benefits of the product are and all of that. I mean, that is really interesting when you like start to hear him. The tools are set short clips and they are kind of like dry. I mean, how do you put the patch on? And then the pre-recorded video, I can see how that could not be as exciting as some other marketing that is available through other companies. But David's passion is kind of, you know, so I mean, it's a long set.
Yeah, I've used for the last convention that they just had, where they released the X49, where he talked.
Yeah, they
probably
have
about
put
an
that
hour
out
and a
yet.
half, and then another hour and a half later in the second part of the day. And I've sent that to people, and that made them make the decision. You know, so.
Yeah, cool.
I just put a YouTube link in there. That goes to a video that I re-edited a little bit with David Schmidt talking about X39. You can use it, but of course you'd want to download it, put your link in it, or tell people, hey, use my link, not the one in the video.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we can put it in the chat, Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, put it in the LoveBoat chat too, but it's in there.
Okay.
Good chat. Cool. We're out of time. We're counting down.